everyone. Welcome back to the Glass Seeds podcast. This is our show where two hockey aficionados discuss their perspectives on headlines surrounding the NHL, including recent stories, game highlights, league culture, and other topics trending amongst the fans. This is Viddy.
And my name is Mrinal. And this week in hockey, we're going to be talking about one of the most exciting and heart-pumping departments in hockey.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Department of Player Safety.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Isn't this what everybody loves? The referees and the player safety? Because that's what the NHL seems to think.
The very inconsistent decision making, yeah.
Yeah, it's like live soap opera.
It really is like reality TV at this point.
Yeah. Spin the wheel. It's Wheel of Fortune.
It's or Misfortune, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what you get. So,
and I have to take this attitude because I freaking hate that we have to keep discussing this. And I'm going to just not take it so seriously.
Yeah. At this point, I don't expect change because why would I? Based on the track record.
Yeah.
So,
if you have not kept up with the storylines, this past week in the NHL has been one of the most violent.
Yeah. I was going to say, this has been a very violent, this might be a very violent episode.
Lots of players getting hurt, lots of fighting, few suspensions handed out, and a few suspensions not handed out.
Yeah. Bogus.
So, we're going to get into all of that and break it down for you here.
Yeah.
So, let's get started out in Columbus versus Florida.
Yeah.
This is the Erik Gudbranson and Nick Cousins were the two players involved here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give a quick summary if you haven't seen it. But basically, dump and play. Puck goes behind the Florida net. Sorry, behind the Columbus net. Gudbranson, defenseman for Columbus, is chasing it down. Nick Cousins hits Gudbranson into the boards from behind the net.
I wouldn't say it was a hit. It was definitely boarding, I think.
Yeah, it was boarding, which is 2-minute minor typically. So then, because it was a bad hit, scrum breaks out. Everybody tussles for a little bit. Cousins is given a 5-minute major for boarding. After video review, it's downgraded to a 2-minute minor.
Mm-hmm.
6 minutes later into the game, Gudbranson tackles Nick Cousins and punches him while he is down on the ice. He basically doesn't give Cousins a chance to fight. Cousins still has his gloves on. So it's not really a fight. It's more of just a tackle and beat down.
Yeah.
Gudbranson is given the following penalties: 2 minutes for instigating, 10-minute game misconduct, 5 minutes for fighting, and 10 minutes for instigator misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
So penalties for instigating the fight, penalties for fighting, and then he's out of the game.
Yeah.
Department of Player Safety gave Gudbranson a 1-game suspension
Mm-hmm.
for his actions.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I thought the suspension was a little bit unnecessary, if I'm going to be totally honest.
Really?
But I do think that Gudbranson was a little unhinged, in my opinion. He could have just, if he kept his composure a little bit better. I mean, the hit was bad. I'm not going to, it was clear, evident boarding. And he had the right to be upset. I just think if he just kind of bottled his emotions a little bit better, he would have helped this team out. And he didn't, so.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have helped his team out, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if you wanted to fight him, just fight him.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to tackle him into the ice,
yeah.
you know?
It was a lot of just foul play, it feels like, yeah.
Yeah, plus, yes, it was a bad hit.
Yeah.
But he got the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't it be over by then?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to win with that, I guess, or what he was trying to accomplish with his
just
beat
angry.
down. I guess, just anger, but was he trying to send a message? Was he trying to, I don't know, was he, I really don't know.
Honestly, from the video, it looks like he's just mad. He's just like, you know what?
Just temper tantrum kind of.
He's like, you know what, I'm just going to take this guy out.
Yeah. He got ejected though, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
like,
at what cost was that worth it?
It wasn't a smart play.
No.
But you still, despite all of this, you think the suspension wasn't necessary?
I mean, I think him getting booted from the game was bad enough. He was just acting like a child.
Mm-hmm.
He got booted from the game. He hurt his team. I don't remember who won that game, but yeah, I think that's big enough. I think the embarrassment he faced was the big enough punishment. Honestly,
really, I thought DOPS went light here.
Really?
Like,
why is that?
This is exactly what you don't want, right? You gave
goon behavior,
and you gave out a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been over. There was a penalty and there was a scrum.
Yeah.
What more are you fighting for?
I mean, they booted him, right? Like,
yeah, no, I meant, why is Gudbranson still tackling the guy?
That.
Like,
yeah.
even if we're going by hockey code, it's over. He got the penalty.
Yeah.
You fight a guy when the refs won't do their jobs. The refs did their jobs in this case.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
that is
gave
true.
him a 5-minute, reviewed it, said it's 2 minutes, which I think was fair.
Yeah.
2-minute boarding.
Yeah. I mean,
It's done, right?
I think there's also like the code of, there's the fighting code in the sense that, they had to send a message just because it's like almost like a formality. Like an example I can think of immediately. Remember in the playoffs when like Corey Perry strictly accidentally kneed Tavares in the face?
Yeah,
And then they had to fight after just to clear the air kind of thing.
Yeah, but then I don't think there was any penalty given on that play, right?
Yeah, because it was accidental.
Yeah.
It was a freak accident. Yeah.
So no penalty and you fight. Okay, that's hockey code.
Yeah.
Penalty, no fight. That's the real rule book.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
was a penalty and you still fought him.
Yeah, and it was a clear penalty too.
And you fought him
Yeah.
and it was fine.
Mhm.
There was a scrum right after that hit.
Yeah.
And then you fought him again.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's just not exercising emotional discipline, I think. So.
To me, we're going to get to this in a second,
Mhm.
but this is exactly the same as what David Perron did in my book.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Perron
Yeah.
got a way heavier suspension.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a bad play. So actually, I'll recap that one. So it was Ottawa versus Detroit in Detroit. And basically what happened, it was kind of strange in the sense that there was a scrum in front of the Ottawa net, I believe it was. And Dylan Larkin kind of got I don't remember if it was a punch or if it was more of like a cross check to his neck. And he's been cross checked in that area before. It's flared up injuries and stuff. Kind of a sensitive area for Dylan Larkin. Matthew Joseph punch/cross checked him in the neck. And then I don't remember who was coming in. Parker Kelly was coming into the scrum. And kind of unfortunately, like they both collided into Larkin at the same time.
Yeah.
But Joseph and Parker Kelly. And he was knocked out cold on the ice. It was actually kind of a scary scene. He wasn't really moving at all. They brought out the
he was
stretcher.
out.
Yeah, there was lights out. Yeah. And immediately after, when I say immediately, I mean David Perron looked behind, saw his captain on the ice, and then went after the wrong guy, the wrong Senators player.
Yeah. So, like what happened is Joseph went to go call the trainer from the Detroit bench.
Yeah.
And then there was another Senators player standing next to Larkin, which was Artem Zub.
Yeah, and he was just making sure Larkin was good.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
he was
even
like-
if he was just standing there. He's just standing there. The play was just called dead.
Yeah,
And Perron went after him
yeah.
because he was the closest guy.
hmm And that is just, oh my God. First things first, I want to say, Dylan Larkin, he's doing better now. He's he's practicing in a non-contact jersey, and Artem Zub wasn't too great after the retaliation he took from Perron. I think he's doing okay too. I'm glad that both the players are doing okay. That's obviously the most important. But two, what the hell was David Perron doing? I was like, what are you? I mean, I don't know. He's had a history of just kind of being goonish, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with St. Louis. I mean, we're just gonna ignore the Travis Konechny like cross check to the face when, when he jumped Nazem Kadri. Given that Nazem Kadri's also got a history himself, and it was the playoffs, but like this dude is a man child. I'm sorry, this is a man child who just gets angry for no reason, and there was no reason to. Like, no Senators player was like standing over him or like trying to intimidate him or anything. There was no like hostility. Like they weren't even trying to knock out the guy. You know what I mean? And then David Perron's like, oh, I gotta go prove my manliness and just beat up someone. Wrong guy too.
I mean, I have no problem with Perron wanting to fight someone. Because I get it. You're on the ice. You don't know what happened. You just see the Larkin out cold. Your first assumption is that someone hit him, right?
So you just go run after some Senators player.
No. Well, you find a willing combatant, which is what he didn't do.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for Larkin first and foremost, but what did Artem Zub do?
Yeah,
he just got astray for no reason.
Catching strays.
Yeah. I was like, what is the point of this? Like,
so those actions, David Perron was kicked from the game.
Yeah.
And got a 6-game suspension.
Yeah.
So connecting these two, if Perron's got a 6 games for this,
I do think 6 games might have been a little heavy. Maybe like 3 to 4.
Fine.
Should have been good.
Doesn't that make Gobranson's light?
Okay, yeah. By that logic, yes.
It's the same thing.
It is goonish behavior,
You fought an unwilling combatant.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because Cousins couldn't like defend himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
neither one was willing to fight.
Yeah.
And fighting is allowed in hockey between willing combatants.
Yes.
And that's what we want to see as fans. I have no problem with physicality.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a no-hitting game.
Yeah.
But willing combatant.
Yeah.
Right? Drop the gloves, fight him.
Yeah. It's a very it's almost the same play, but two very different results in terms of suspensions or discipline, whatever you want to call it.
And this is why we call it the freaking wheel. Because you have no idea what's going to come out of the Department of Player Safety. In both these cases, right, penalties were given.
Yeah.
Like, I think we talked about this in a previous episode, that we enjoy the physicality. We like that it's back in some sense, right?
Yeah.
And I think you had mentioned wanting, that hockey code of, if you're not going to police the game, refs aren't going to police the game.
Take it in your own matters. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the problem with that, right? What happens when someone takes it too far? A referee is employed by the league and can be fired for a bad job.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. It was strange. Watching both of these clips, it was strange that they just kind of stood there in the corner and watched. I mean, they did try to hold players back, but they were just like, okay. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Like, what's the ref going to do? Get in between Gobranson's fists and the ice?
I mean, probably. They've done it with other scrums, right?
But
I'm not saying
they usually do it
him,
once the fighter, in a willing fight, they do it once they're kind of tired out, right? And they can come in and grab them.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sure. The refs don't have that much power, but it's just.
This is like 6 games, I think, for both of them should have been right. You should have thrown the book at both of them because the message that player is sending is that I don't care what the ref does. I have to take revenge. And you are not following the rules that the league has set out. Which is like, then what are we doing here?
Got it.
This is just free for all, right?
Yeah, it's just throwing a dart into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, fucking, why do you play with sticks? Come out with freaking chainsaws. Just hack people then.
Yeah.
If there's no rules.
Just a broom, yeah. Like,
yeah.
I
Why
don't know.
does Ryan Reeves have a stick? Give him a club.
Yeah.
Like, what is this then?
Yeah. I don't know if I would go 6-game suspensions for both of them, but they should definitely have been probably the same suspension, same length suspension. So I don't know.
I think it should have been 6 is fine.
6 is
Throw
fine.
the book at both of them.
Okay, got it. Fair enough.
In both these cases, the offenders were given penalties, and that should have been done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. The inconsistency of it is off-putting, but we've talked about inconsistency so many times that it's just more of a meme at this point. I feel like, so,
The fact that even we, as seasoned hockey fans for over a decade, have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really just, spin the wheel. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's continue on with the violence with an, in my opinion, objectively dirty hit.
Yeah. And again, inconsistent with penalties. So this is Ryan Strome we're talking about, right? So this is Anaheim versus Winnipeg. Ryan Strome of Anaheim delivers a knee-on-knee hit to Kyle Connor.
Was also like one of the nicest guys on Winnipeg.
Yeah. And is also one of the stars in the NHL. That's a 40-goal scorer.
Yeah.
And he takes Connor out. Kyle Connor is expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks with a lower body injury.
Brutal.
Why is knee-on-knee so dangerous? It's very easy to injure a player with a knee-on-knee hit. Strome was given a 5-minute match penalty, and Mark Scheifele fought him right after the hit.
Yeah.
No further punishment for Ryan Strome.
Yeah. And I think one of the craziest part is I don't know, it reminds me almost a little bit of Tomas Hertl getting his knee hit by
I had war flashbacks to that.
Dustin Brown, I think it was. And he was absolutely they were projecting like, oh, he's going to be the Sidney Crosby for San Jose or whatever. And he was good, obviously. He's still playing for San Jose. But he was never that caliber ever again, and he was like 19 when that happened, I think.
That hit legitimately changed his career.
Yeah. Like, he's still a star player, but he's not superstar
anymore. This is
anymore.
the type of hit that ruins careers.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor might be done.
Yeah. It's possible. I mean, I don't want to go that far. I don't want to put that negativity out in the world, but like, I feel like...
I think you should. Give this hit the weight that it deserves. Kyle Connor might never score 40 goals again.
Oh, like in that way. I thought you meant like his career is done.
I mean, sure, maybe he'll be a third-line player.
Yeah.
There's a legitimate chance.
Yeah. That I will agree with. There's a legitimate chance he won't be the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, no suspension for a blatant knee-on-knee.
Yeah, getting kicked out of the game is enough.
Yeah. Make it make sense. Please,
and that was an illegal hit.
Yeah. It's like, this is, of all the hits or all the scrums, I guess we've discussed today, this is one of the few that I think is, I don't know how you argue against it. Even if you're a Ducks fan, like, how do you...
And this isn't one of those,
clear.
like, premeditated, I want to say premeditated. It's not one of those, like, oh, it happened by accident. Like boarding sometimes, okay, you went for a hit, you misjudged the distance the guy was from the boards and you boarded him.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yes.
Ryan Strome like flew across the zone.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen the video, you should look up the video.
Go look at it. Yeah.
But he flies across the zone intending to make that hit.
Yeah. It was a clear dirty hit. And yeah, it really, man, that's one of those things you really need. Honestly, this for me seems like a 6 to 10 game suspension, but no, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
All of these 3 that we've talked about so far, I think they should have gotten the book thrown at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is, speaking of inconsistency, right? Let me put it into words. It's the NHL sometimes deciding when to enforce its rules. That's just mind-boggling.
Key emphasis on sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like
any of these 3 we talked about happens in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you nothing.
Yeah.
No penalties, no suspensions.
I agree, yeah.
But like right now, they're like halfway in between. Sometimes not even throwing out a suspension.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is what we're talking about. Why is there such a big gray zone?
Yeah.
And why are the results so different?
Yeah.
Like, if I had to train like this is going to get nerdy. If I had to train an AI model for what hit leads to what suspension, I bet you I would get the AI model would be confused. So bad because it'd be so confused on the separate outcomes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This is a little side tangent, but all those years of Gary Bettman saying, "Oh no, NHL players can't go to the Olympics because we don't want them injured for right before the playoffs," but you won't enforce shit like this. I mean,
if you get injured in an NHL game, that's just cost of business. They don't want you getting injured in a non-NHL game. That's the thing.
It's more the fact that they're allowing this. I don't want to keep using the word goonish behavior, but there's
pretending
no repercussions.
They care about injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, there's no repercussions or no consistent repercussions. It feels like so. Yeah, we got one more actually. Speaking of not knowing whether something's boarding or not, Vander Kane injured Brodin of the Wild. I don't know. I watched the video and it feels like it could have gone either way, boarding or finishing your hit.
I'll be honest, this one was a little more borderline.
Yeah, I wasn't really too sure. But no penalty, no hearing. And Hartman kind of not jumped Kane, but like, roughed him up a little bit, and Kane didn't retaliate.
I mean, that was just a smart play from Kane. Kane wanted the power play, which he got.
Yeah. Point is, it was kind of borderline. It could have been similar to the Nick Cousins hit, with no further repercussions. I don't know. Again, we're just adding to the inconsistency here. So, yeah, if anyone can leave in the comments and let us know what is actually suspendable and what isn't, that would be great because we're both deeply confused at this point.
Even the NHL doesn't know.
Yeah, Gary Bettman's like, I guess we could throw out a suspension.
Yeah.
That was all the violence we're going to discuss this week.
And it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, physicality in hockey is granted.
Yeah.
And we all love that. We love a good fight. But you don't want to see players getting hurt.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see, unwarranted violence.
I think rules should be established, and more so than established, they should be enforced pretty strictly.
Yeah. And not just rules. Punishment for breaking those rules is what nobody is consistent on.
Yeah.
There's a rule. Everybody knows the rules.
Yeah. But
no one's debating whether
or not.
Yeah. No one was debating whether those hits were boarding or not.
Mm-hmm.
They were clearly boarding.
Yeah.
We
can add this to the what the hell is it alongside the goalie interference.
Yeah, boarding.
Yeah. What is boarding? What is suspendable? What is we sound like Jeopardy at this point. What is XYZ? Yeah.
What is boarding? Cousins on Gabranson.
Yeah, wrong. Minus $400. Be like, I saw it yesterday.
No, it changed.
Yeah, it changed. Yep.
Shall we move off the ice?
Yeah, let's do it.
A couple more stories to wrap up this week. Let's talk about the St. Louis Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Fire head coach Craig Berube, replaced by AHL head coach Drew Bannister.
A little premature. A little jump the gun, I feel like.
Every coach firing that's happened in season, I don't think was a coach's fault.
This season?
Yeah.
You're saying? Oh, yeah.
Woodcroft, Dean Evanston, and now Craig Berube.
Mm-hmm. Just GM trying to save the ass, or trying to save the team,
or I mean, Minnesota and Edmonton were basically like, okay, light a fire on the team's ass,
Mhm.
right? Fire the coach, just get everybody waking up.
Yeah.
This feels a little different. Like, St. Louis isn't that bad.
Yeah.
They're 1 point out of the playoffs as of we're recording this.
Yeah.
On December 14th.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were significantly worse last year. So the fact that they're, again, 1 point out of a wild card, especially with how stacked some of the West is too, I don't know. I don't know if I completely understand, other than the fact that they need to just shake some urgency into the players, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And plus, like, this is the coach that won you a cup.
Yeah.
4 years ago, and all the key players that won you that cup are gone.
Yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly's gone. Petrangelo is gone.
Yeah. It's hard to blame Craig
You just
Berube.
lost Barbashev to Vegas.
Yeah.
Or not lost, you traded him.
Traded him, yeah.
Whatever. He's not there anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel a little bit bad for him. I feel like he was a scapegoat a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
If you had to pick a problem with the Blues, it's not how they're coached.
Mhm.
It's how the roster's constructed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a GM playing their last and final card, which is always fire the coach
Yeah.
and hope something happens.
I forgot who the St. Louis GM is.
Doug Armstrong.
Doug Armstrong. Is he on the chopping block next, or?
I mean, it feels like it now.
Yeah.
This is a desperation move.
Yeah.
And this is also the GM that won you a cup. I don't
Yeah.
get why.
The coach that won you a cup.
And the GM.
Oh, and the GM. Yeah.
Did you not know you would be bad? I don't know what you were expecting.
Yeah, I thought they were like kind of aware they were going to be like.
You're not even that bad.
Yeah, I was like, one, you're not that bad. Two, I was expecting worse from them this year. To be completely blunt, I was expecting them to not be this good. So I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, their young guys are so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas and Jake Neighbors, a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But wouldn't you want Craig Berube in if you have those young guys to like kind of? I mean, again, like you said, this is the coach that won him a cup. Like clearly he did something right.
Yeah.
So
just saying, if you want a new head coach, there's a couple good ones in the market right now.
Yeah.
Craig Berube, Jay Woodcroft.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see a lot of these guys back as soon as the offseason hits.
I don't even know if it's going to take that long. I feel like, I mean, is there a rule where like the coach can?
No, I think you have to get permission from the team he's under contract with.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, then maybe by next offseason. I feel like, honestly, maybe all three of them are coming back.
You know, we're coming up on the holidays and we're planning to pre-record some review episodes. Maybe we'll talk more about the Blues there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This is a roster construction problem. I don't think any coach is going to help you here.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, I guess, but yeah.
All right. Last story for this week. Washington Capitals may be moving to Virginia.
Them. Yeah, and the Wizards. So.
Yeah, Wizards as well. So this is from the owner of both those teams, Ted Leonsis, building a new 20,000-seat arena, practice facilities, yada, 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 out in Potomac Yards. Going to be costing $2 billion, 12-acre construction. The move would be in 2028, but it's a non-binding deal right now, which means no contracts or anything have been signed. We're just working off of this is what it's been announced. This is our intention, which makes this feel like a negotiating move.
Yeah. I have a weird feeling about asking taxpayers. Well, one, if I don't care that they're moving, but it feels weird that, they're asking for taxpayer money to support, entertainment and sports and stuff like that, especially in this economy. But
I don't think I mentioned that, but basically why we're bringing up taxpayer money.
Yeah.
It's the plan still needs approval from local and state governments, and DC itself still wants the teams to stay in Capital One Arena, and they want to refurbish Capital One Arena.
Yeah.
But basically, the DC local government is now offering $500 million for them to stay, and they're in a bidding war with Virginia.
Yeah.
So this is like the DC local government versus the state government of Virginia. And for fans, I don't think it matters that much. No. Everything in this area is very close.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good public transport in that whole area.
So this is basically just Ted Leonsis trying to see which government will give him more money.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the part I have a problem with. I was like, yes, $2 billion is a lot of money even for a billionaire, but one, these are your two teams, and two, You're a billionaire. We're not. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
taxpayer funds going to private things, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a sports team. It's an entertainment. There's bigger fish to fry in this. Like, there could be a recession impending. I don't know. This just seems like a greedy billionaire move. I don't know how else to put it.
It's not out of the norm. A lot of sports teams do this.
I know. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just like, I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So.
Yeah, and what bothers me is like the idea is that having the arena will help stimulate the city's economy.
It could.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
could. Yeah.
But I feel like if you're going to take city money, shouldn't you give the city a stake in your actual revenue?
Yeah, probably.
Isn't that how this works? You sell a stake in it. You don't just take money.
Yeah.
Right?
Does that cross the minds of billionaires?
This is basically just governments bribing them to come to their state. That's what it is.
Feels very, I don't know. It just feels so strange, especially with sports teams. I don't know.
All the promised infrastructure improvements, like I feel like rarely come, or they come only for like a subset of people.
Yeah.
Like growing up, we went to Sharks games, and technically Caltrain stops at the stadium, but we never lived anywhere near a Caltrain station.
Yeah,
that would make it feasible. We drove,
yeah, and we paid the fucking $40 parking or
whatever it was,
yeah.
or you fight for street parking.
Yeah,
but plus we were kids, and taking public transport in California after that was not a good idea.
No, yeah,
but I feel like the benefits of that come to a city with a sports team are never really outweigh the costs.
No. So yeah, I don't know. If they move, great. If they don't move, also great, I guess. But it's more the premise that I have a problem with.
Yeah, and now
I mean? Like,
you're basically negotiating to the media, right? You haven't signed a contract or anything. You just said, "Oh, I'm going to move."
Yeah,
pay me to not move.
Yeah, this is. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of back in, I think it was 2010 when LeBron had the decision and it was broadcast. Like, he knew he was going to sign with the Miami Heat, but he made a whole spectacle about it.
What are you worrying about 2010? It just happened right now with Shohei Ohtani.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, this
or John Tavares.
Yeah, or John Tavares. Yeah,
like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah,
whatever it was. Yeah,
it's a little bit of a. Not saying that he necessarily is looking for attention, but it seems a little narcissistic. I don't know.
No, I think it's a negotiating move to see which government will give him more money. So
there's still greed involved.
Yeah,
you're a billionaire, bro. You really need the money.
Yeah, he doesn't. But
yeah,
if he didn't become a billionaire by spending his own money.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Capitalism, baby.
No pun intended.
All right. That's enough complaining for this week, I think.
Yeah. Should we end on one positive note, actually?
Sure.
John Tavares, 1K.
1,000 points.
In the island.
Yeah.
In a Leafs jersey.
So John Tavares, who played for the Islanders a lot of his career, famously went to the Maple Leafs in a big media storm and controversy.
Yep.
Scores his 1,000 points against the Islanders. And then they lose the game anyway. But 1,000 points against the Islanders.
Yeah. Big achievement, and very fitting that he did it, back in the island. It was an away game for the Leafs too. So, congrats to him.
Man, does the island hate him.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I kind of watched just because I saw like the headlines and stuff, and I wanted to see if they were still holding the grudge, and newsflash, they are.
I watched that game live.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to touch the puck. The first shift he stepped on the ice, the whole stadium just
boo. Yeah. I remember watching the first game that he came back to Long Island, and there was like the jersey burning and everything. That was like, I was just watching it from California, and I was like, wow, this is I'm actually legitimately concerned for their safety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or his safety. But regardless, he hit the 1K in front of all of them, which has to feel good. Unfortunately, there was the L at the end, but still a huge achievement, and his dad got to see it too. So
yeah, it was on during the dad's trip. So.
Yeah.
Congrats to John Tavares.
Yeah, ending on a nice little positive note. But yeah.
All right, this has been Glass Seats. We're out every week. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple, and Google. We're also on YouTube and Instagram. For those last two platforms, at Spud Network Podcast is the handle. You can check out this show. You can check out our other shows. Wherever you watch, follow, and listen, if you can leave us a like, subscribe, comment, review, whatever it is, helps us grow the show. See you next week.
Peace.